I've been watching anime seasonally for well over half a decade now, and over the years I've come across quite a few stacked seasons. The winter of 2022 had the two blockbusters Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. The fall of 2022 had Chainsaw Man, Mob Psycho, My Hero Academia and Bleach airing simultaneously. The previous summer had Dandadan, Kaiju 8, My Dress Up Darling, Bunny Girl Senpai and more. Basically, it's not that uncommon to come across stacked seasons of anime. However, off the top of my head, I'm struggling to think of a season of anime as outlandishly high profile as the winter of 2026. The upcoming winter season is absolutely insane. It has it all. Commercial juggernauts? Check. Highly anticipated adaptations of critically acclaimed source materials? Check. Showcases of raw animation power? Check. Shows directed by some of the most promising young directors in the industry? Check. You get the idea. As such, and as always, has a list of every single anime I'll watch from the upcoming winter season. Maybe this video will help you navigate through this season better, maybe it'll draw your attention to titles you initially overlooked. I don't know, I'm just yapping, let's get to it. Make sure to subscribe, I'll cover many of these shows in detail in the upcoming months, so if that interests you, you know what to do, subscribe. You can also become a member of this channel. Members get at least 2 exclusive videos per month, custom badges and emojis, shoutouts and more. Just go down there and press the join button. The first show I'll talk about is the biggest, most commercially significant one from this list by far. It is Jujutsukaisen Season 3. Oh boy, do I need to elaborate? I don't think I do, but I'll do so anyway. Jujutsukaisen, in my very humble opinion, is the best the battle shonen genre/demographic has to offer. Was that provocative enough for you, dear viewer? Go on, leave an angry comment, say if I care. I definitely won't cry myself to sleep over it, go on. Jokes aside, I love nearly everything about Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm a manga reader by the way, I think it's brilliant, and a new season of it definitely warrants a ton of excitement. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though. As much as I hate to be the resident Debbie Downer of the anime YouTube space, I have to say this. I think the upcoming Culling Games arc is a bit of a downgrade from the previous Shibuya arc in terms of writing. In my opinion, it is mangaka Gege Akutami at his most inconsistent, with him being overly indulgent and leaning into some of his bad habits as an author. You'd have these fights with throwaway characters that go on and on with long-ass convoluted explanations of complicated curse techniques which, let's be honest, no one really gives a fuck about. I hate to say this, but it was a bit annoying. Of course, this arc does have a bunch of good stuff to offer. The stuff with Maki, not a spoiler because they showed it in the trailers, is absolutely brilliant, one of the best things from this series. The Yuji Yuta stuff is quite good, the ending is absolutely insane. It's not bad whatsoever, but at the same time, it's not quite the laser-focused, perfectly paced with no wasted effort story arc that Shibuya was. Anyways, story aside, we have the outlandish production value to look forward to. The show is still being directed by Shota Goshizono, one of the most creative minds in the industry, and it still features a veritable who's who of industry-leading talent. Plus, the behind-the-scenes conditions appear to be better than the tragic Season 2, which should be a brilliant viewing experience overall. I think I can say that confidently and without fear of contradiction. Really looking forward to it. In case you couldn't tell, I'm sure it'll be amazing. Up next, we have Frierenbeyondjourneysend, another massive production. Now, Season 1 of this show was amazing. I know, shocking, it's not like it's the highest rated anime ever or anything, could you imagine? Thanks to the unorthodox but well-executed narrative themes and the love and care the staff put into it, Season 1 was a memorable, powerful viewing experience, and I hope Season 2 will be more of the same. I do think Season 2 will see a bit of a visual downgrade. The show doesn't have an animation producer credit yet, but I'm reasonably certain that it won't be Season 1's Yuichiro Fukushi because he's probably busy with Shingo Natsume's Ghost, meaning this season probably won't have the same talent pool that Season 1 had, plus Season 1 director Keiichiro Saito is no longer leading the project. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, basically. To be fair, the trailer did look good, but ultimately the quality of this season will boil down to how well they can exploit the production framework created by director Saito. More about said framework here. Hoping for the best. hellsparadise Season 2, an interesting show, let's put it that way. Now, as we all know, Season 1 of this show was abysmal. It was one of the most visually broken mainstream shows I've ever had the displeasure of laying my eyes upon. It was rough. As such, I hope the upcoming season will fix at least some of those issues. I know it won't suddenly turn into Jujutsu Kaisen, but I hope it'll at least look presentable. The trailer looked fine, it did have a bit of jank and some questionable compositing choices, but some of the action looked solid, we'll see. Story-wise, I don't really think much of this show, it's alright I guess. The world itself is interesting, but that's pretty much it. I'm not a fan of the characters and stuff. Up next, we have Chained Soldier Season 2, which is just your typical good old Cooner bait, or in other words, it's peak fucking fiction. Jokes aside, it's a fairly typical, straightforward ecchi harem, not the kind of show you take too seriously, it's fine. Also worth mentioning, the show has undergone a staff change, with Studio 7 Arcs being replaced by Studio Passione and Hayabusa Films, with the highly experienced
Masafumi
Tamura taking on the role of series director, and the overall aesthetic does look a bit better. It looks cleaner, if that makes sense. Looking forward to it for non-creepy reasons. Well, Oshi No Ko Season 3. Now, I'll be honest, Season 2 of this show did lose me a bit. I was never really into the revenge aspect of the story, so the selling point of this show to me was the inside look it provided into the Japanese
entertainment
industry, and I don't know, Season 3 focused more on the actual entertainment aspect instead of the behind the scenes. Does that make sense? It just felt a bit boring, it felt a bit bland, I don't know how else to describe it, not a fan. Visuals were great though, quite a few impressive shots and drawings and plenty of solid direction, so at least there's that. Fireforce Season 3 Part 2, which I believe is the finale. As some of you may know, I have read the manga, and if you knew that, you also know what I think of the ending. I think it's absolutely batshit insane in the best possible way. Trust me, it's absolutely insane, and naturally I'm really excited to see how the anime handles it. Now, yes, to address the elephant in the room, Season 3 of this show so far has been a shadow of its former self in terms of production value. The unorthodox direction and top-notch 2D animation the previous 2 seasons boasted was mostly absent in the previous part, which doesn't exactly fill me with hope. Look, here's the thing, the content this core will adapt needs top-notch animation and direction, and while the trailers did look good, especially direction-wise, I doubt it'll be as mind-blowing as the previous seasons, although I'm willing to be proven wrong. Still, fingers crossed, I hope it's good. Up next, we have Tune Into the Midnight Heart, which means yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have finally escaped sequel hell. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. I won't do that, it'll mess with the audio. Just so you know, we still have more sequels to go, but you know what I mean, the big ones are out of the way. Anyway, Tune Into the Midnight Heart is a very highly rated rom-com, and as a certified rom-com addict, there's no way I'm missing this. I don't know anything about the story, plus the visuals don't look particularly extraordinary, but still I have high expectations. Really looking forward to it. Up next, Fate's Strange Fake, one of the big ones at least for animation nerds like myself. The newest Fate anime featuring names like Shunen Okido, Takahito Sakazume, Hakuyugo and more, Fate's Strange Fake is about to be a spectacular production. A visual treat assuming everything goes by smoothly, which let's be honest, it probably won't. As some of you may know, Strange Fake is a complete mess. Behind the scenes, it's an absolute nightmare, there's no denying that, but still I'm sure it'll feature plenty of visual highlights. It has to, given the staff. Plus it's Fate, so I expect the story to, at the very least, be decent, really looking forward to it. Sentenced to be a Hero, another massive title for animation nerds. This one is being directed by Hiroyuki Takeshima, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. The gritty aesthetic, the charming designs, the actual animation, it's insane. I know it got delayed and that the staff list of the first episode is an absolute nightmare, but still I'm sure it'll look great. Director Takeshima has been AFK for like 2 years now, so I'm sure he's locked in for this one. Visuals aside, the story sounds interesting. It presents a more cynical, bleak take on that standard RPG-inspired fantasy subgenre, and I'm here for it. I can't wait. And speaking of providing a bleak take on the fantasy genre, up next we have There Was a Cute Girl in the Hero's Party, So I Tried Confessing to Her. A show that definitely doesn't present a bleak take, it's just your standard power fantasy, but that transition was smooth as f***, wasn't it? This one sounds like a typical unserious fantasy, why not? Next up, we have Shiboyugi playing death games to put food on the table, another major title, for me at least. Now, I know absolutely nothing about the source material this anime is adapting. I don't know what the story is, I don't know what the characters are, I don't know anything about the novel, but what I do know is that this show is being directed by the one and only Sota Ueno of Days with My Stepsister fame. Days with My Stepsister, of course, being one of the best directed shows I've seen in a minute, a fact that's particularly impressive given the lack of animation muscle director Ueno had to work with. This project, however, appears to be different. It looks like Ueno has more resources at his disposal this time around, plus the trailers look amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. My Hero Academia Vigilantes Season 2, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. The kids already had their fun, you know, that little final season and all, now it's real men's turn. Jokes aside, I love this show, I think it's great. If everything goes to plan on my end, this video should come out after my yearly top 10 list, and if it does, you already know that the first season of this show made my top 10, and if it doesn't, well, just pretend you didn't hear that. Anyway, point is, it's a great show, it's fun, the characters are likable, the premise is solid, the story has intrigue, with the Knuckle Duster arc being surprisingly heartfelt and compelling, the visuals look amazing, the overall aesthetic is vibrant and eye-catching, it's just a good show all around. Can't wait to see more of it. Up next, we have Trigun Stargaze or Trigun Stampede Season 2 for those of you who speak normal. I love this show, the first season of it is genuinely one of the best things I've seen in a while. That ending stretch and conclusion left me speechless. I don't know what to expect from this season since season 1 felt a lot like a conclusion, but I'm excited to find out. Also, the visuals look as amazing as ever. Season 1 featured some of the best 3D across all of anime in my opinion, here's why by the way, and it looks like this season will be more of the same, good stuff. You and I are polar opposites, say good old rom-com, why not? I've been meaning to read the manga for a while now, plus the visuals look quite charming, this can be good, looking forward to it. Up next, we have Tis Time for Torture Princess Season 2, and let me ask you this, do you like having fun? If the answer is yes, then please watch this show. And if the answer is no, just go see a therapist I guess, I don't know. This show is just your classic, wholesome, heartwarming, fluffy, cozy, other adjectives that I can't think of currently, slice of life. That sentence fell apart near the end, but don't let that distract you from how good this show is, it's great, watch it. Medalist Season 2, a decent-ish performance art-based anime with fantastic 3D animation, why not? Dead Account. Now, I'm watching this purely because of the chaotic energy the trailers have. It looks very in your face and fun, which does interest me. I just hope it's more entertaining chaotic and less obnoxious chaotic. Wash It All Away, a slow, relaxed, presumably character-driven slice of life. Why not? We all need a few of those in our lives. The daily life of a single 29-year-old adventurer. This fantasy with an absurdly long title has a premise that sounds a lot like that other fantasy with an absurdly long title, and I like that other fantasy with an absurdly long title, so maybe I like this fantasy with an absurdly long title as well. Fantasy with an absurdly long title. The Darwin Incident, quite easily the most goofy sounding show from this list, let's see what it's like. Will it pull a fast one and end up being a surprisingly heartfelt story? Quite possibly, overtly goofy shows tend to do that. It can be good. The Demon King's Daughter is Too Kind, yet another silly, wholesome show, and I like those. That's it, that's your insightful commentary. Hell Teacher Part 2, Part 1 had like one good episode, plus the staff list is quite strong. Although the final product, despite having its moments, doesn't quite live up to expectations. Hope this part does more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff, let's put it that way. And finally, we have Journal with Witch, a slow, matured, seemingly self-serious character drama. The kind of show the most obnoxious Twitter account you know uses to call shonen fans surface level and basic. Unfortunate fanbases aside, this show does sound promising. Hope it ends up being good, I like methodical character dramas. And that's it, what an insane season, absolutely packed. Let me know which shows you'll be watching down in the comments, and that's about it. A special thanks to Nude03, Amir, and the Gallus90 for becoming tier 3 members, and until next time,